Hello from North Pole Studio. We are a professional art studio and we support artists with autism and intellectual and developmental disabilities to join classes, join a professional studio program, and work in careers in the arts. This video was made to give you a sense of what we do at the studio, to talk about our different branches of our programming, and to help you decide what part of our programming may be a good fit for you. First, Mary Ellen is going to tell you all about our professional studio program, and then I will tell you about our community learning program, which is our classes and workshops at the studio. Those are our emails there at the bottom. If you have any questions, want to get in touch, take a tour, just reach out. We're looking forward to meeting you and hearing more about what you're interested in. I will let Mary Ellen take it from here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mary Ellen. I am the director of the studio program here at North Pole, and I'm here to tell you more about our program. So, the studio program at North Pole provides artists with a workspace, art materials, and staff support to create, exhibit, and sell their own self directed artwork. Artists enter the program by invitation only after spending some time in classes and workshops. Artists in our studio are all 18 years old or older, a little different from classes and workshop, which welcomes artists as young as 16. Artists in the studio program are all 18 or older. All artists experience autism or an intellectual developmental disability. All artists demonstrate the potential to express their unique perspective through the creation of completely original work using their own distinctive style. Ability to perform personal care or the ability to bring an outside provider to studio hours, absence of aggression and elopement behaviors, and the desire to create artwork for exhibition eventually. And how do we support all of these professional artists? Here are the four main ways. One, studio space and materials. Number two, creative support. Number three, artist representation and professional development. And number four, community. First is our space and our materials. So on the surface level, we provide artists with a beautiful, large, light-filled shared studio in Northwest Portland. We are in the Pearl District, amongst other studios, galleries, and conveniently located across from an Blick Art Materials. So we're really situated physically amongst the Portland art community. In the space, there are multiple types of seating options and tables. We have easels. Usually we have a hangout area. We have sensory options for people. Most seating options are in the communal space, but with only 10 artists in the studio at a time, people have plenty of space to work and spread out and have their own personal space bubbles, not popped. We also have lots of materials in the studio for artists to access. So that's drawing and painting materials to sculpture and fiber to ceramics. So we really have a really wide range of materials for artists to use however they'd like. So number two, creative support. So all artists are really coming to the studio program with their own practice, their own distinct style, and their own way of working. But we do have 2 to 3 art facilitators to help support with that practice. So that's helping artists find materials, helping artists access materials, introducing artists to new materials or techniques, supporting them in planning larger projects, with checklists or visual schedules, teaching about new skills or techniques as it pertains to artist goals. All artists have check-ins with our facilitators, and they self-identify both studio practice goals and exhibition goals. And it's really our facilitator's job to help support artists in achieving those. All of our art facilitators are artists in their own right, and they come with an amazing brain full of skills and experience as well. All artists receive artist representation from North Pole. So they're all represented by us as as artists. So we have a whole team of staff who are looking for opportunities for artists, whether that's exhibits, solo exhibits, group exhibits, licensing, lecture opportunities, all different ways that we find opportunities for artists locally and nationally. And then at the very least, everyone at least gets a web page with their bio, a photo, and a small portfolio. And everyone has access to these professional art opportunities. And this just happens naturally around here. Artists have access to a growing and warm community, really built by the artists themselves. So, artists in the studio program and classes and their families and their friends, really anyone who'd like to be connected with North Pole are welcome to these, are invited to participate in celebrations. So, we have holiday parties, we have birthdays. We have quarterly community outings to museums, galleries, and local artist studios. And we try to also organize group outings to our own openings around town. So, how do artists get into the studio program? Like we mentioned on that very first slide, we now are asking artists to first take a class or take a workshop. So they are all identified through our classes and workshops. And by taking our class or workshop, artists and staff can decide together if the studio program is a good fit. It's a great way to get acquainted with the studio physically and kind of the way things work around here and the staff, and to get more comfortable and for us to see kind of how you interact with the space and staff and other artists and what kind of art you're making. And together we can decide which program's a better fit for you at the time. So artists who are a good fit for the studio program are demonstrating the potential to express unique perspectives through their own creation of completely original work and using their own distinctive style. So just looking for really original artwork from artists and having the desire to create artwork for exhibition. And we recognize that that might not develop until later down the road, but really what we're looking for is artists making really original artwork in their own style. Scheduling. So once artists are asked to the studio and accept, it's time to make a schedule. And everyone just gets a really individualized schedule and is created based on studio availability and what the artist needs and what their schedule will allow. So it's just very individualized. Some artists come one full day, some artists come 3 half days. So it really depends, but the hours that we are open to the studio program are Mondays 10 to 2:30, Tuesdays 10 to 3, Wednesdays 10 to 3. Thursday we have a little later day to account for those who like to sleep in late. So Thursdays is 12 to 5 and Fridays is 10 to 3. Fees. So we are a private pay program. And so here are your membership options. So right now we are able to offer basically no more than 6 hours at the moment. But if space does open up, this is how the fees would look. So artists pay based on how many hours they're accessing the studio per week, and then they're billed per month. We do have financial assistance available, and no artist will be turned away for lack of funds. So once we do the onboarding for artists into the studio, we will talk more about your financial situation and if you do need some financial assistance. Okay, so FAQs, so some frequently asked questions about the studio that we might have covered earlier, but I'm going to go over some of these things again. Once I get into the studio program, how often can I access the studio? Right now, it's about 4 to 6 hours a week. So it really just depends on our capacity, and that's where we are right now. That might change in the future. How soon can I exhibit my artwork after entering the program? So it does take a little bit of time for artists to start exhibiting through our artist representation. But it is different for every artist. All artists will get a webpage with a photo, artist bio, and small portfolio within 3 months of entering the program. Artist involvement with exhibitions and licensing will be assessed based on readiness and amount of exhibition-ready work. Some people are really established artists coming into the program who have a huge portfolio of previously made work, and they're going to get started a little earlier than someone who's earlier on in their career. Can I draw my favorite characters during my time at the studio? Like I really tried to drive home the point that artists in the studio program are here to make original artwork. So we really encourage artists to create that original artwork while they're here. And if you're mostly interested in making fan art or reproductions, that's amazing. But a class or workshop is going to be a better fit than the studio program. Can my DSP come to the studio with me? Yes, we have a caregiver waiting area for DSPs, and DSPs can sit in the studio with the artist if it is noted in their ISP and they require one on one assistance for daily functioning tasks. So, we really value artist independence, especially in making art. And we have two to three, usually three art facilitators in the studio to support with that art making. So we do ask caregivers to kind of hang in the waiting area while artists are working. Is your studio accessible? Yes, we are on the second floor, but we do have a large elevator for artists to use and a variety of tables and seating options in the studio. Are you a service provider? No, we are not. Like I mentioned before, we are a private pay program with options for sliding scale and scholarships. How do I get to the studio? So we are located in the Pearl District in Northwest Portland. So parking is an issue. So we have a lot of artists taking public transit. I would say a majority of the artists taking TriMet Lyft. Artists are responsible for signing up for Lyft and making their own rides, but staff here are responsible for meeting the buses when they get here and making sure artists get to the buses on time. We have artists biking and walking. Like I mentioned before, we have very limited parking that is reserved for artists coming from out of town, artists with significant mobility needs, and artists who have very substantial struggles with transitions. So those parking spaces are really limited and are reserved only for artists with those situations. How can I get into the studio program? And we've gone over this before, is to take a work class or workshop. So after that class, first initial class or workshop, we'll meet with you and decide together what we think the next step in your North Pole journey will be, whether that's more classes or workshops, or if you'd like to try out this, or if you'd like to sign up for the studio program. But really the best way to get involved with the studio is to take, I would say, even a couple classes and workshops to really get acquainted with what we do around here. What are you looking for from artists when they're in classes that show you they'd be a good fit for the studio program? Like we mentioned before, we're really looking at artists making that original artwork in a super distinctive style, who have a desire to exhibit their artwork. Also, who are able to tolerate being in a space with other artists. We are a shared studio, and that will be something that artists, that's a prerequisite to being in the studio program. Although we do have ways to support artists in getting used to that, and doing that during classes and workshop is a great journey to do that. So, yep, that's the artists we're looking for in the studio for the studio program. And let's say you are so interested in the studio program, you already have your own practice, um, and you do not want to take a class, you do not want to have instructional time. Are there any options for me? Yes, yes, yes. The best way to do that is our independent art classes. They are non instructional. They really do mimic the studio program, but you're signing up for a finite amount of weeks to really try out the studio program, try out our materials, and see if it's a good fit for you. So thank you for listening to my spiel on our studio program. Please reach out if you have any questions, and I hope to see you around the studio soon.
Hi, my name's Phoebe, and I run our class and workshop programming at North Pole. This is called our Community Learning Department, and I'm going to share more about the workshop programming, and I'll tell you about each type of workshop that we offer, how to determine what might be a good fit for you, and next steps if you want to take a class. So we have classes almost every day at the studio. This is what a typical week of classes looks like. So on Monday, we have independent art class, and once a month, we have a figure drawing co op in the evening. On Wednesday, we have a class called Wednesday Skillshare. On Thursday, we have a morning independent art session and an intensive that changes mediums every term. And once a month on Friday, we have a one off class called a Friday Deep Dive. I'll get deeper into the information about what these classes are shortly. We have 4 terms a year. They follow the seasons. So we have a winter term that typically runs from January to March, a spring term that runs from April to May, a summer term that runs from June to August, and a fall term that runs from September to December. Registration for classes opens about a month before the term starts, and you can always find information about current classes and how to sign up for classes through this link or QR code here that takes you to our website. So our website stays updated with what classes we're currently offering and with a registration link so you can easily sign up for class. You can also join our registration email list by sending me an email and asking to be added to the list. That means you'll get first access to registration when it opens. My email will be featured at the end of this presentation. So I'm just going to dive into each type of class. So we always have an independent art class on Monday afternoons and Thursday mornings. So it's a weekly class that meets throughout the term. The Monday class runs from 3 to 4:30 p.m. and the Thursday class runs from 10 to 11:30 a.m. This class is $215 for the course of the term. We'll talk later about sliding scale payment plans and scholarship and how to request that at the end of the presentation. So in independent art class, this is a non-instructional class, meaning that there's no set lessons or group learning or instruction, but artists come in and are supported to develop their practice independently. So North Pole will provide studio tools, materials, and creative support from our facilitators for artists to work on projects independently. So this is a really good fit for artists who are looking to create their independent practice, who maybe have really specific ideas of what to make, and want more support to execute those ideas, or for people who are just simply trying to develop that practice. So it's a great offering with space and support for people to create their own unique and self-directed work. This class is also a really good fit for people who may be interested in joining North Pole's studio program. It's a good example of what it looks like to work independently with support from facilitators in the studio, which is very similar to what happens during the studio program. On Wednesdays, we have Wednesday Skillshare. So there's 2 sessions of Wednesday Skillshare, one from 12:30 to 2 and one from 3 to 4:30. Those classes are identical, so you only sign up for one. We just offer 2 so that more students can come in and participate in that popular class. This is another class that meets weekly for the duration of the term, and the base price is also $215. Each week in Wednesday Skillshare, we offer a different activity taught by a different local teaching artist. So we bring in teachers and artists from the community who want to share something that they love to do in their art practice with you. So this class gives people the chance to try a lot of different types of art. Skillshare classes are very activity based, but with a good balance between structure and creative independence. Some past classes we've offered in Skillshare are color theory and painting, comics and storytelling, embroidery, felting, fiber art, ceramics, and clay sculptures, and much, much more. This class is a really good fit for artists who want to incorporate creativity into their week, for artists who are adventurous and excited to explore a lot of different art mediums and techniques, for artists who enjoy structured activities with room for creative interpretation and freedom, for artists who thrive in a collaborative, supportive environment alongside other artists, want to meet more artists, and for artists who want to connect with and learn from a rotating group of local teachers. We also offer each term a weekly Thursday intensive. So this Thursday intensive runs from 1 to 3 p.m. The base price is between $215 and $250, and that cost varies based on the class supply costs. So our Thursday intensives are classes that meet each week devoted to a deeper study of one art medium. So the Thursday intensives are taught by one teacher for the duration of the term, and it's a deep dive into the medium that they want to bring to the studio. So past mediums we've covered in intensives are comics, ceramics, cyanotype, calligraphy, and drawing. This class is a good fit for artists who want to incorporate creativity into their week and also are looking to deepen their practice through developing skills in a specific medium. So if what we're offering for this term's Thursday intensive piques your interest, and you want to devote 8 weeks to studying that type of art, this class would be a really good fit for you. It's a good fit for artists who enjoy structured learning with space for independent creation, and for artists who want to meet more artists and create in a supportive environment. We offer figure drawing sessions on Monday evenings once a month. These are $25 for a one-off session. Figure drawing sessions are clothed and costumed. We sometimes have fun themes. So these images are from an artist who came in as a model who's a theater performer. So he had this cool rabbit hat. And you see in these drawings that he was wearing the rabbit hat for some of the session. So figure drawing is also a non-instructional class, meaning that there's no set lesson at the top of class. Instead, we are learning to draw just by practicing and doing it and drawing what we see. So figure drawing is a great fit for artists who are interested in improving their drawing skills and figure drawing skills through focused practice. For artists who enjoy drawing from life or who want the challenge of drawing from life. For artists who are interested in characters and costumes, this is a really good fit. For artists who want to strengthen their observation, gesture drawing, and proportion. And for artists who are open to working within time limits and embracing looseness over perfection. Finally, we have our Friday deep dives. These are also classes that meet once a month, one-off classes from 10 to 2 on Friday. These classes are $75. They are a one-day class structured around a specific activity in a specific medium. So if class is exciting to you, if the theme of what we're offering this month or this term is exciting, I'd encourage people to sign up and try a deep dive out. Past Friday deep dives have included paper mache mask making, intro to Procreate, natural dye, felting, and much, much more. This class is a really good fit for artists who are looking for a relaxed and creative one-day workshop. For artists who want to devote a 4-hour straight stretch to art making, artists who enjoy hands-on, tactile art making, artists who appreciate a relaxed and exploratory and social studio environment. And these classes are a great fit for artists who are beginners or who are experienced artists just interested in expanding their practice through a one-day session. Now I will go through some frequently asked questions about our workshop programming. Am I eligible to take a workshop? So our workshops are open to individuals who are 16 and over who identify with autism or an intellectual and developmental disability. Our workshops are open to practice artists and beginners alike, so no previous art making experience is required. I'll also mention here that you are never expected to bring your own materials to class. We provide all the materials that class will need, and that's a part of the class fee. And if an artist wants to bring some of their own materials, that's also totally welcome. You can bring snacks and a lunch, depending on when classes, water, whatever you need to be comfortable in class. How much support is provided in class? Group sizes are kept small, under 8 students, to ensure that every artist receives ample individualized support. And we always have several support people and facilitators in the classroom that are there to work one-on-one with people and to work with the group. At North Pole, our staff and teachers are the primary support for artists in the classroom. If caregivers have questions or wish to discuss an artist's support needs, we're happy to schedule a meeting outside of class time. If an artist's ISP specifies the need for one-on-one support, caregivers may sit with the artist during class time. Otherwise, we ask that caregivers hang out in our comfortable caregiver waiting area, or you're also welcome to drop off an artist at the studio and pick them up at the end of class. How does paying for class work? Prices vary by workshop based on teaching and material fees. If class fees are ever a barrier, sliding scale payments are available and nobody is turned away for lack of funds. So, to request financial assistance when you're filling out your registration form, you will simply report the amount you're able to pay and we'll send you a separate sliding scale invoice. It's very straightforward, and we just send you an invoice separately with that requested amount. Are masks required at North Pole Studio? Masks are not required during any of our programming, but artists are more than welcome to wear a mask. If you have any other questions about what classes look like at the studio, how to find what might be a good fit for you, or if you'd like to come and visit the studio, take a tour, check out our classroom space, and get a feel for how it is in here, just shoot me an email. It's PHOEBE at northpolestudio.org. And I really look forward to talking to you and hopefully seeing you in the classroom. Thank you so much. Bye.